we are here. We're going in. So I just wanted to show up. I wanted to be present. I wanted to share and connect with you guys. So I got my Tibetan singing bowl here. And I figured let's get some healing energy going. Feeling that vibration, letting it wash all over you. I've got some green mango tea. All right, so hi, first off, everybody. I hope that you are well. And if you're not, I'd love to know why or how I can support. Yeah. Some things I just want to share about are things that have been really prevalent in my journey, and that is an understanding that you are not able to be your fullest self, your fullest expression of yourself, when you're not loving who you are. And that seems like that expression like a double-edged sword, because it's hard to love who you are when perhaps maybe you don't necessarily know who you are yet, or you haven't defined what you're not. And so that takes a whole bunch of inner work, first off, to find that, to discover that. And that's something that's really super important in my whole life journey, is discovering that and supporting other people and discovering that. And so the first is like a peeling away, right, of everything that you're not. And that often looks like the things that, family has put on you, expectations, society expectations, labels, roles, all of those things that can be a lot of pressure. And then there is this pressure to navigate and shift and adapt and change who you are to please others or to gain somebody's approval. But it's like, at the same time, you're also abandoning you. And so your ability to, genuinely love who it is that you are is lessening. And so when somebody's interacting with you and you're not actually in that close relationship with who you be on the inside, they're not even getting to interact with the real you. In essence, they're interacting with a trauma response, your adaptation, or the version of you that is able to conform to create peace in the moment. So just an invitation, and this has been my own practice, is coming back into how can you uniquely love who it is that you are at your core. And that is, what does make you unique? What does make you feel like free and special and energized? What thoughts, when you think them, really resonate, and what thoughts don't resonate? All of those pieces come into you really discovering the unique nature of who it is that you are outside of expectation, pressures, other people's perceptions that may have come from interacting with you in a moment, but that can't hold the totality of who you are. And so if you keep interacting with people that have these expectations of you that are kind of subpar for what you're creating in your life, that can be really hard to interact with people like that. And that often can be family, that can be people you just have a short encounter with, but that you were more in your adapting energy versus your genuine, authentic, this is me, I'm discovering who I am each moment, and I'm choosing into radical acceptance. So I feel that's a huge invitation for more empowerment for whoever is watching, that when you can lean into healing areas where there's pain, that is going to be a big piece of how you can also lean into acceptance of who it is that you are, who it is that you be, who it is that you're becoming. Um, and then people really get the chance to meet you. They really get the chance to know who you are, and something that is, I think, really difficult for individuals that maybe identify as more codependent, in the sense of you need others to be happy or okay or at peace for you to feel peace. If you recognize those patterns of codependency within you as, how can we say, almost a passive form of manipulation. It's like manipulating a situation so that everybody can be at peace, but it's not real peace, right? Because real peace is, I'm able to be who I be, you're able to be who you be because you feel safe in my presence. Why? Because I've done the work to feel safe within my own being. So of course that's what I'm going to give out, because that's what I've cultivated within, right? We can only give out what we've cultivated within. That's all that we can provide. So if we haven't been able to provide for ourselves, by no fault of our own necessarily, because most people aren't taught this, so it's not a bad thing, but it's a good thing when you realize, oh, I want to create this. And then, that's why people like myself are here to provide tools. I give tools out for free to help. And then I, work with people and I coach individuals one-on-one and then in some group programs. But, to help people be able to have the tools to self-regulate, to self-soothe, to discover what it is that really is your true nature, and then how to exist from there, and to have interactions that are soul fulfilling from there, that feel really good. And then, you have more freedom to play and be in your expression around people that also are being. And it's like, do you want to be a creator living in an unrefined moment, or do you want to be held back in that cage of, I need everybody to approve of me? And it's like, that really feels suffocating, right? So I just want to like invite everybody to shake it off. Yeah, so that was one of the things that I was just writing down and reflecting on, is you're not yourself when you're not loving you. So people interacting with that version of you are more so interacting with a trauma response. So there's a lot of deep healing to do around there, and that actually can be a fun process and a healing process, and I love guiding people through that. Yeah, so I want to share that, and then would love to hear any of your guys' thoughts in the comments. What comes up for you, how you relate to that, what you would add to that. And if I was doing this live, I'd be answering people's questions, and like we could do more one-on-one work, which is probably something I will do in the future. If this serves you guys, I'd love to do that. I also have some coffee here. So I'm oscillating between some organic green tea with maple syrup that was grown here on the land, and coffee that is Arabic, which is really good. So, okay, another thing I want to talk about, kind of unrelated, but sort of related at the same time. It's a well-being journey, but is about sustainability. And I've been learning, living here on this Native American owned land, which is a really sacred experience and just been so incredible. But I'm learning so much more about recycling, and it's been really a beautiful journey to deepen in that and to deepen my understanding of sustainability, and like just, I think, putting it in your mind, like the pattern of, when you have any type of plastic item, like just rinse it out and then take the cap off and put it in your recycling container. That takes away so much of the effort that the person who's working at that recycling place is going to have to do. And on each item that you have, there's a number on the bottom, and it will say 1 or 2 or 3, and it has the little arrows for the recycle. So it's basically telling you what kind of material it is and how it can be recycled. And so you can separate it and put it in its specific bag, and then either you take it to your local person who recycles, or maybe you have the different containers for a bigger recycle corporation that is doing that. But for instance, why you want to take off your cap of any like plastic bottle or any bottle, for instance, is when it goes to be decompressed, if the bottle remains on, it will just create a tight air bubble and it like won't be able to press. So it creates a havoc and a pain. And then like it's just a way for us to take care of our earth. Have you ever seen the movie Wall-E? It's like there's so much trash right now. And if you're just using those single use things and then throwing it out, like that is contributing to a world that maybe won't be as green as we would like it to be. And so there are ways to change that. You can recycle, you can choose to reuse things. It's just cool, and I think it's fun. Like it's honestly really really fun. Sustainability is amazing. All of your fruits and vegetables and whatever it is that you're cutting up, you can save it and put it in like a container, and you just collect whatever when you're cooking things, like whatever you're not using, you can use that to make a vegetable stock, like a veggie broth. And then you can also use that as compost for your soil. So you can put that back into the earth and it will create more nutrient dense soil. It's so enriching and it's so beautiful. And these practices, I feel really feel good and they really serve. And I think it helps each person to feel empowered and to feel sovereign and like you're doing something that actively contributes to the well-being of this earth, which in essence, it's the home that we all share. Like, we all are, as Einstein said, 30th cousins, and we're all sharing this earth. So it's like we all get to really take care of it better. Um, yeah, so sustainability can be really fun. It can feel really good. I love the recycling process. Like I got to go and recycle the whole city where I'm staying. Pretty much, I went to schools, I went to restaurants, and I personally like lifted 1,500 pounds of cardboard, and then we put it into this the recycling car, the vehicle, the truck, and then we brought it at the end of the day back to the facility, and then brought everything back out and then put it into the machine and then it decompressed everything. I got to see that. It was so cool. And so it just really, I'm a very kinesthetic learner where when I see something and I interact with something, it lands deeper in my emotional cellular memory. And so then I'm inspired to be consistent in those actions that I know I should be doing. But when I have the experience of it, it deepens the purpose. So I hope that inspires you guys watching. Whatever you can learn about recycling, whatever you can do, it's so helpful. Like, when you buy a Ziploc bag, you don't have to keep buying so many Ziploc bags. You buy one, and then when you're done using it, you rinse it out and then you dry it and then you have it again. Like, just there's so many ways to be sustainable. You don't even need to buy really cleaning supplies. You can get a lemon, and you can use vinegar and water, and that's a cleaning solution right there that's impeccable and really really high quality. You can use apple cider vinegar too, as a cleaning solution. Like there's so many ways to be sustainable. So yeah, I just feel like sustainability really is the practice of getting closer to the earth, because I feel we've separated from the earth so much, and it's like cities and technology and um, all the, not that buildings and structures are a bad thing, but it's like it's separating us from our nature. Our nature is Mother Earth. Our nature is nature. And I do really feel that at our essence, our core, we are tribal beings. And my favorite prophecy is the Native American Hopi prophecy, talking about the rainbow people. How when the earth is ravaged, animals are dying, the waters are running dry, trees are cut down, people realize you can't eat money. And then one day, the warriors of the rainbow will come together from all walks of life, all creeds, all races, all ethnicities, all genders, all sexualities, all spiritual religions and spiritual traditions, and come together, and they together will make the earth green again. I love that. I love that so much. And for me, that's what I embody. That's what I stand for. That's what I would identify as rainbow people. But, you know, it's when you care about the earth, I care about your well-being. I care about your life on this planet. I care about your children's generation, being able to have fresh, pure, clean oxygen, to breathe and to play, and to not be so addicted to technology, but rather to roll down hills and climb trees. Like something I still do in my free time, but you know it's just a beautiful thing to really come back to the earth and care about the cycles of the earth. And I've been sorry for the phone ringing, but I've been coming into the practice of learning to grow my own organic food here, and it just feels so good. And like the food that I eat, when it's grown from the earth with love, it tastes so delicious and it's so nourishing, and like the nutrient quality is so much more high than when you get it at a grocery store, because when they're being shipped from overseas, it loses nutrients. It's actually less nutrient dense when it's coming from another country. So that's the importance of eating local. And then also too, you don't support the big corporations that are genetically modifying our food. And you can support your local people, smaller people, um, not necessarily organizations, but individuals who are growing organic food and vegetables for you in your city, probably at farmers markets. And I would bet so much money that if you start to shift from going to grocery stores and getting conventional food to buying something at an organic farmers market, your energy's going to be up. You're going to feel so good. And it's really a lot easier than people think to cook your own food. Like it really is. There's so many recipes and you can make it really, really fun. um, I'm a vegan chef, so, look in your local area or neighborhood for people who, would want to cook for you or do meal prep or something like that. That's definitely something you can do that probably is cheaper too than, going out to restaurants all the time, or, so there's just so many ways. There's so many ways. And that's something I want to really talk about, is that true power really is what you eat. I think in many ways, businesses, corporations, government does not really support your sovereignty. Like, because of everything that's pushed, because of how it's pushed dependency on grocery stores, and, you know, instead of encouraging each individual person to grow your own food in as whatever capacity you can, so that you can become financially free and independent. And then when you're eating whole, organic, if possible, fruits and vegetables, your energy is going to be so much higher. You're going to be so much more just invigorated and uplifted. And that's sovereignty. Sovereignty is really having the freedom to eat what is organic and from the earth. I'm going to pause. Okay. Somebody just walked in. We actually started to have this really deep, good conversation on recycling and the Native American Hopi prophecy, the Warriors of the Rainbow, um, and then just talking about the meaningfulness of taking care of the earth. So it's kind of like a full circle moment. But yeah, and then I just want to put like empathy on how difficult the money situation is. Personally, I feel like there's so much effed up in our culture. Obviously, I mean, that's not a new idea or a new thought, but it's just, I personally feel food should be a natural birthright. Access to organic food, a home that you feel safe in should be a natural birthright. Spring water should be a natural birthright. Like, all these things, for us to live a sovereign life, where we get to grow spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. Like, there's so much I want to change. And I know that there's so much disparity, and like, super, super mega elite that, has so much money. And then there's so many people that, are starving on a day-to-day basis. And it's just like, well, can't you just share a little bit of that, or there's so many musicians too that will drop like 200K on their music video, but it's like there's so many world problems together that we could be solving. I don't know. I haven't yet made that amount of money that I would like to, so that I can put my energy and efforts into solving these things. But just want to encourage you, where you have financial resources, like put it in to help others. If you know of somebody who's struggling financially, like help them out. That feels good, like more than going to the gym and working out your muscles. Like work out your kindness. Work out your generosity. If somebody's struggling or somebody's sad, like work out your upliftment to them. I really honestly feel that that's the measure of true strength, is how much you lift other people up. It's not how far you can get above others. It's like, okay, whatever. But it's how many people can you bring with you, and how many people that are not like you, that are different than you, or that, have a completely different life path than you, or who, you were taught to avoid or not like. It's like having empathy for every single soul, and, getting to know human beings, and see where they are at. Like, coming back to the notion that we are all first spirit, we're all first energy before we are a physical body, before we are flesh, before we are a skin tone, before we are melanin rich or melanin deficient. Um, like soul energy. So just encouraging everybody to, remind each other we are soul family. And yeah. Okay. Yeah. And now I want to talk about energy teachings. So, energy teachings, I hope that I would be able to fit all of this in a Instagram video, but if not, it may have to do a two-part. So I'm going to go ahead and just pause it so I can jump into my energy teachings now. I love you guys.